Hello everyone, my name is Jessica. Welcome back to Budget Freedom Books. And today I want to show you how I fill out my expense tracker, how I work with both my bank account and also my cash that I'm spending, my receipts, and just show you how it's done from scratch and hopefully answer some of your questions, explain it in a bit more detail, and encourage you to start using your expense trackers if you're not already. And if you are, get a little bit more excited about it and get into it even more. All right, let's go check it out. Hello again. All right, this time I wanted to show you how to update your expense tracker. I started with a beautiful, clean expense tracker so that you guys can see how I do it from the very beginning. Everything that needs to go on your expense tracker is it's all variable expenses, first of all. So it's not your main bills that you have to pay every month. You don't need to write down your mortgage or your electricity payments or trying to think like car payments, things like that don't need to go on your expense tracker. Credit card payments, those don't need to go here. This is for all the other little stuff that you spend without the month so that you can categorize your expenses and keep track of them and compare them to the next month, okay? So food goes here, any personal items, any miscellaneous items, fun items, clothing, if you're buying, medicines or vitamins, if you're spending money on your pets, whatever your pet is, if you're giving gifts, all of that kind of stuff needs to go on your expense tracker so that at the end of the month you can go through, highlight the different categories, separate them out, and keep track. So the one way of doing it is off of your bank statement. If you are using your debit card, or even if you're still using a credit card, you'll need to use your credit card statement as well. And it's a quick way to make sure that you don't miss anything. So what I like to do is I like to print out my bank statement, or sometimes I'll do it on my phone, whatever's easier for you. And I just go through it. So I'll go through here and I'll say, okay, here we spent for food, it's this one here, $38.90. That easy. Then the next one, I'll go down. These are bank charges. I do like to keep track of my bank charges because I want to see how much I'm spending in bank fees, okay? And I'll just go through the whole list like this and make sure that every single item on my bank statement, and you can go ahead and either use highlighters or a pen and tick off all those items as you go along and make sure that you record everything. So at the end of the month, you know how much you spent. So this is how I handle my debit transactions when I use my debit card at the shop, which I try to use my debit card for large grocery shopping. So I go grocery shopping every 2 weeks, and because it's a big amount, it's a big shopping spree for 2 weeks, I don't want to really draw out all that cash, especially where I am. They charge a lot of money to draw out cash like that. So I have my shopping list on my phone. We go shopping. I check that it matches the total that I had in my phone, what I expected to pay for it from my debit card, and then I record it off my bank statement. So I don't have a lot of transactions on my bank statement for the month because I only go shopping 2 to 3 times a month, depending on how many weeks there are in the month. Usually it's twice a month and it's large amounts. So it's like 500 twice a month. And I know that that's for my food shopping. Everything else I do in cash. So in the week when we need to go buy vegetables, that actually I need to write down here. Yesterday we went and we bought veggies and we spent $50 in cash. You see, that you would need to write down. The other day we went to the pharmacy and we also spent $22.50. Okay. Now, generally you want to write this down every single day so that you don't forget. I wanted to prepare this for you, so I remembered it and got a clean sheet so that I could write it down in front of you and show you how it was done. But if you keep this up to date every day, it's really easy. You just flip over in your binder to your expense tracker. Okay, today I put in gas for $10. I went to the shop. Maybe I got my nails done. Whatever it is, write it down. Close your book up. Next day, when you spend more money, come and write it down. That way you keep up to date with your expense tracker every single day, sorry. And by the end of the month, this will be filled in. You'll have all your expenses here that are not monthly bills. And I will show you again at the end of the month when I come, like I have before in other videos. I come and I get a different color highlighter for different categories. So I have a category for food, a category for my dogs, a category for miscellaneous and other, a category for bank charges, and then I have another category for vitamins and meats. That's pretty much all we spend money on. And then I will highlight all the different transactions with the different color highlighters, add them up, and then I can go back to my monthly budget, which is right here. And I can say, okay, for food, my budget was $1,300. From my expense tracker, I see that we spent $1,250 or $1,400 if we went over, whatever it is. And that helps me calculate my actual versus my difference and see if I am meeting my budgeting goals for the month. So I can stay on top of everything and make sure that I don't go over my budget. Your monthly bills obviously should be the same, so they should not have a difference. I have them written down here, like my mortgage payments and my medical insurance, my phone payments, school kids, the kids and the electricity and the water and the internet. These are normal bills that go off every single month, and they're usually the same amount. So those I would just say there's no difference and it would be fine. But obviously for the ones, the categories where you're spending more money, you definitely want to keep track of it on your tracker over here, update it at the end of the month, and compare and see how you're doing with your spending, because that's the whole point of budgeting, to make sure that you're spending either exactly what you budgeted or really close to it or less. That is the point of budgeting, so that you can save money. If you're spending over every month, that's not good. And you need to have a limit. Like I have a $50 budget, basically, buffer. So if I go $50 over, I'm okay with that. That's my buffer. Anything more than that, I think is a problem, and then I address the situation. So that is completely up to you. If you want to be on a zero-based budget where you have zero buffer and you have to be on target or less, that is fine. You just need to keep a lot tighter control of your expenses to make sure that you don't go over budget. The cash envelope system works great for that, because if you budget to spend $600 for the month on food, if you pull out $600 in cash and put that in your cash envelope, when that cash is gone, you're not going to overspend, because you're going to see that your cash is finished and there's nowhere to overspend. Because I use my debit card, so I pay for it from the bank account for the food purchases, it is a little bit easier to go over, because I might go and realize, you know what, I need an extra laundry bag, a bucket, or a mop, or something. You know, your house always happens, and you forget to put it on your food shopping list, and it becomes an extra. So that's the reason I have a $50 budget, because I know that something like that always comes up, and I forget about it, and I don't like to be stressed out about my budget. So I would rather budget a $50 buffer for every time I go shopping, so that I go shopping twice a month. That's a $100 buffer for the month. I would rather have that than have to pull out all that money in cash at this point, because again, where I'm living, the fees for pulling out cash are 10%. It's really crazy. And I don't feel like wasting that money by just pulling it out in cash, when I can just budget a buffer and make sure that, you know, if I forget something, that I can still buy it, but I don't have to feel bad about it. Lost my train of thought there. So that's what the expense tracker is for. It helps you to stick to your budget, to record everything, so that at the end of the month you can compare. Again, if you don't want to go over budget, make sure that you use only cash envelopes, which again I did include for you here. Remember, I included it in the very beginning under the help section. They're on my website. You can go download them, all the cash envelopes, how to use them, the whole explanation. So that is the perfect system if you want to be on a zero-based budget. If you want to make sure that you don't spend 1 cent more than what you budget, use the cash envelope system. If you are okay with buffers, then use the budget, use your bank accounts, use your expense tracker, and be prepared to have a budget buffer. But make sure that your buffer has a limit. Make sure that you hold yourself accountable, and that if you start to go over that buffered amount, or if that buffered amount really becomes consistent, that you look at it and address it and either correct your budget or stop spending the money, one or the other. All right, so I hope that that was valuable and interesting for you, to show you how I update my expense tracker. I will be doing a lot more videos on every single section of the budget planner, to give you a lot more detail and a lot more walk through, like one-on-one interaction and explanation of how to fill it out and how to use it. But I'm really, really excited about this new budget planner that I have created for you guys. I hope that you are as excited as I am, and that you come and join me next time. Sorry about the mess behind me. I just saw that. That is crazy. My kids threw everything. So I will see you next time. Bye-bye.